Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Cherika Brown, of course. We're on another episode of Cherika Be Talking because I be talking. And on today's episode, y'all, we're just going to discuss redirecting your energy and focusing on what's important. Now, I got on a hat today, so you can't really see my face, but we're going to get the message through. And the message is what's important, not me. So let's focus on what's important. That's hearing the message. We've all been there. Whether you were only supposed to scroll for 30 minutes and ended up scrolling for an hour and you're just laughing, laughing at reels, or you constantly checking profiles of someone who's no longer in your life just to find information that you don't like or information that could possibly ruin your mood or cause you just to fall into sin of gossiping or just talking about a person or posting pointless posts to throw jabs at a family member, a friend, a spouse, or sharing just a random selfie after a breakup to get the validation from followers that you don't even want because you know that they will for sure like your story and respond with heart eyes, call you beautiful, and just make you feel good inside. And it reminds you that you have so many options. And that's another thing with our generation, this illusion of options. You don't really have the options you think you have, especially when you get to talking to people and you see that a lot of people have zero substance. Social media is a drug, and we are truly the addicts. People are so addicted that they deny the truth and reality of social media in our everyday lives. Don't get me wrong, it can be used as something good as well, and it can also just be fun when using social media. Just because you post a picture here and there doesn't always mean that you're seeking validation either. Social media, like I said, when you use it responsibly during free time, it is really fun. But make sure that it's not consuming your life, your thoughts, your feelings, your decision making. And just make sure you're not giving it more time than you give yourself, your self care, your self growth, and most importantly, than what you're giving to God. Today's message is to remind everyone to focus on what's important. And by that, I mean to truly nurture your relationships in real life. It's time to create a routine of productivity and give your brain a bath. Y'all know, like the song we have in our culture. Time to go to church, go give your brain a bath. Start working, get on the right path. But for real, that's a true statement. It's time to commit to yourself and remember the goals that you want to accomplish before your time is up on this earth. You ain't got to live a strict life, but we all got something we want to become, something we want to accomplish. And I think it's time for us to redirect our focus and energy on those things. When I truly take care of my close relationships, people who love me, my physical body, my relationship with God, and actively work towards my goals, I don't have time to scroll for hours or think about people or things that just do not matter. Honestly, I feel self-conviction when I know that it's always something that got to be done. So rest is important as well, and you do need those brain breaks where you can just go and laugh. But when you start feeling guilty for scrolling so much, that can also be a sign that, hey, it may be time to get off because I've laughed enough, and now at this point, I'm just wasting time. I'm wasting hours of my life. Redirecting your energy is all in your mind. Just like anything else, it starts in your mind before it becomes an action, before, it's a thought before it manifests into the real world. You don't have to make this grand commitment to never do something again. Like, oh, I'm never going to look at this person's page again, or I'm never going to scroll for more than 2 hours again. Just take everything day by day. Just like the Bible tells us, don't worry about tomorrow. Today has enough troubles of its own. Just for today, I'm not going to do this one thing. Only you and God knows your toxic habits. you know let's just be real. A lot of people don't know what you do behind closed doors, what you're working on. That's up to you and God to work on constantly. If you can just wake up each day and commit to changing for that day, you will notice that over time you no longer have that bad or toxic habit anymore. You will notice that over time, something that you thought you would never stop thinking about or caring about, You would stop thinking or caring about that thing. Most importantly, you will feel peace in your life. You will feel like a sense of relief and confidence, and you will feel more freedom. And that's another thing that we'll get to later in this message. A lot of times we hinder ourselves from progressing. We allow ourselves to stay stuck. We sometimes can be our biggest enemy. You know how they always say, oh, my biggest enemy and this held me back. And they be like, no, you're your own biggest enemy. There's a lot of truth in that. In fact, we choose to stay stuck every single day. When not used properly as like a business tool or like an actual social tool, social media is definitely a thief of joy. Sure, you may say, well, when I'm scrolling for hours on a day, I don't feel like it's stealing my joy. The hours I spent laughing at reels was quite enjoyable to me. But if you're a person with goals and not using it for business purposes, it took away time that you genuinely cannot get back. As y'all hear a lot of people say, time is the most valuable thing that we have, because every day that we're alive, every second that we're breathing, we're getting closer to our death date. Not to scare anybody or anything, but that's just to be real. That's the fact. That's the truth. Just like everything else in life, we need to create boundaries. I was just reading a Daily Bread the other day. It was September 5th, the Daily Bread. And it was just talking about how fences can provide freedom. And when I read that, when they said fences can provide freedom, it immediately made me think about how before we had a fence around our house, we kept our dogs on a tight leash, especially because we had pit bulls, and y'all know pit bulls are known as escape artists, and people fear them and they have a bad reputation in general. And we kept them on a tight leash just because we wanted to keep them protected, and there wasn't any laws or rules that prevented them from doing anything that they wanted to do. But the moment we got a fence with comfort, we let them roam the backyard freely. Like they could just run around the entire backyard with freedom. This is because we created a boundary. See, as long as the fence didn't exist, we feared the unknown because our dog could run off further than expected. But closing off the space created a boundary that essentially gave them more freedom and happiness. We got to stop looking at boundaries as something that holds us back, or something that's controlling, or something that don't want to see us thrive, and something that's fearful. A boundary is a safe zone. Boundaries are put into place to give us freedom to enjoy life with respectable limits. When it comes to boundaries with social media, you have to limit the time you spend online and be strict on yourself about it. You gotta have those rules and know that you just won't break them. Give yourself like a time limit. And when you give yourself a time limit, you have to give yourself also rules of practicing like emotional intelligence using social media. This looks like even when you agree with a certain post, like let's say you see a post that you agree with, you don't always gotta like it. You don't always gotta double tap it. I mean, we've all fell victim of it, possibly liking something where we like, dang, you would come back later, somebody will send it to you, like, dang, I shouldn't have liked that publicly. I should have liked it in my head and kept going. But it looks like not even reposting everything. You may not even add it to your story where it's up just for 24 hours, because it's not healthy for you, for your family, or it could cause an issue in your relationship or make outsiders feel like you're giving them the inside scoop on how your relationship is going, or it's not an accurate representation of yourself for the people that you may inspire. Although we're humans with real feelings and we go through emotions every single day, each of us do, we have to remember that everything isn't meant to be shared publicly. We have to find those people in our lives that we trust genuinely and that we can talk to and count on, and learn how to share like in close-knit communities, like with people that are just in your circle, in your corner. Everything isn't meant for a social media post. And that's just a good way, to navigate the world while using social media and still remaining that keeping that sense of emotional intelligence. Also, too much time online brings about comparison and competition. A lot of people are in denial of that as well, but it's true and it affects everybody in certain ways. Whether you're comparing someone else's relationship, lifestyle, fitness, or accomplishments to your own, or stalking your ex to laugh at how you feel, like every woman after you is a downgrade. Like, let's be real, we've all been there. And I don't give many personal examples on here. I always just kind of preach to y'all. So I said, let me just go ahead and give them a personal example, throw myself under the bus a little bit, so I guess it could be more relatable to y'all. I know that I don't think I'm easily replaceable, and I can easily discern the type of woman someone is without knowing much about them. So even though I'm overly confident, I still have looked, lurked, and I've always laughed. I'm gonna put that in there because it's like it's the smallest things that remind me that I'm rare. Like, oh, you gonna go and follow a woman who follows back just about any man that come in like pictures that she have, like she that easy, desperate. Oh, you gonna go follow a woman who you were first talking to possibly on another app, and plenty of other men was possibly talking to her too. So you get the ill, and I often just find myself laughing and saying to myself, well, good luck with him, finding another woman that look this good and is this respectable and, that is this trustworthy, honest, and loyal. You get those type of thoughts, and you just see stuff and you just take tabs and keep tabs in your head. And as the Bible teaches us, love doesn't keep score. We don't keep tabs. We don't supposed to, or whatever. So even though I never compare myself to other women in an insecure manner, doing those things can be toxic because I can make myself like angry and disgusted sometimes in discoveries. I know I was just talking to a friend that was like, like just how her ex like discussed her with the women that he will entertain, and she was just like, like I was never, like, you feel like I was never his type, like, or you feel like, were you cheating on me all along? Like, you couldn't wait for the breakup so that you can go and run and follow and like and do all of this stuff. So it just feels like a slap in the face when you're looking at things that you shouldn't be giving your energy and your time to. But like I said, even the best of us can fall victim to those type of behaviors, and all of that isn't necessary because it just creates resentment, and respect is lost. Like, you just lose respect for a person, and sometimes losing respect for a person can be a good thing because it pulls you away, and it pulls you away from the direction that you're not supposed to be going to. However, you just don't want to have bad blood with people, so it's best to just keep it pushing and mind your business. The way we choose to use social media can keep us stuck. We're living in times where we have to remember we are in control of our thoughts, our actions, and our focus. Anything that we focus on, we feed. We feed you feed your focuses, and it honestly becomes a distraction. It's time to starve your distractions, y'all. Close doors and allow new doors to be open. It's definitely easier said than done, but it's possible. Like I said, just think of it day by day. Don't make this big commitment and just say, today I'm gonna do this. Today I won't do this. Today I'm gonna focus on myself. Today I'm gonna, and when you make those changes in your life, you'll realize you start to attract better, because anything God takes away or you take your energy off of, God will replace with something so much bigger and so much better and worthy of your time and your energy. When it comes to studying human behavior in real life situations, I think I have it down pat. Like, I'm not claiming to be some type of expert or anything, but I just pay attention to like how people act, how people respond, how people interact. And one thing I notice is that a person's social media's usage can honestly tell a lot about who they are internally, and it could also be a reflection of unhappiness or clues to unhappiness. For example, whenever a woman overly posts and she's in a relationship or marriage, depending on the type of content, many times it could be a sign of neglect, unhappiness, and even sometimes brokenness. In rare cases, someone is just being loved properly, so they're freely just being themselves without restrictions. I would say that's very rare cases. However, a lot of women settle for men who they can't really communicate with, who don't show them love or love them out loud, like posting them and just, showering them with love and, gifts and celebrations and, everything that a woman may claim she does not want, but she does want. Or who simply just don't give them proper attention and care, like a man who just don't really value them. So a lot of women weaponize social media by posting quotes, hoping it sparks a conversation with the one and only person they truly want to hear them out. And they post pictures to show how many other men appreciates their beauty while their man is somewhere following and in another random girl's likes and not even following his own woman. Like, I've heard so many situations of girls be like, oh, I'm just so in love with him and, we don't follow each other. He don't like my pictures and he don't comment this and that, but he called me and he asked me, why is my ex commenting on my picture? I'm like, well, maybe if he followed you and he commented, your ex will know that you're now in a new relationship. Because I'm sure if he was posting you, you would definitely post him and you want to be posted, but you're scared to ask him to post you. It's just the little pettiness like that. When you redirect your energy, you will also see what's important and what's not feeding your energy in a positive light. And ultimately, it will pull you away from things that aren't serving you or loving you in the way that you would want to be served and loved. Your energy is valuable. Energy doesn't die. It can only be transferred. Make sure you're not giving your energy to things and people who didn't appreciate it when they had it or who aren't proving themselves worthy of it, like currently. If we are serious about the things we want out of this life, it is time to commit to change, y'all. Change can be scary, but it is the only one thing that is permanent in life. So let's embrace it by redirecting our energy and focusing on what's important. I'm Cherika Brown. Y'all know I'll be back because I be talking. Peace.